This trial is called the BeST Services Trial, but it's BeST with a question mark, and that's because we really don't know what's best. So it's all about finding out.
And at the end of the day, we're doing it for a very good reason.
To make sure that we make the best decisions we possibly can, as early as we possibly can.
Knowing that it's for the future benefit of the children makes me feel happy that I've been a part of that.
As judges, we have to make difficult decisions about children day in, day out. We need to be sure that we're making the right decisions about their futures, and you can help.
I'm Helen Minnis. I'm the professor that thought about the trial in the first place. It's really all about children coming into foster care and trying to work out what's best for them. There are really two models. There's the model that's led by social work experts, and then there's the model that's led by mental health experts. The big question in the trial is which of these two approaches is best. When a baby or toddler under the age of 5 comes into care, everybody involved is asked if they want to consent, and if they're happy to take part, then a computer decides randomly which side of the child will go into, so the mental health side or the social work side. And then an independent group of scientists will meet with the child within the first 3 months. We then, as a research team, wouldn't see the family again until about 15 months later, and then we meet them again about 2.5 years later. Once we've got about 400 families taking part, we'll have enough families to be able to really tell which approach works best.
My name is Suzanne Miller, and I've got responsibility for all children's social work services in the City of Glasgow. This is a really difficult time for birth families when their children are taken into care. A randomised clinical trial is really new in social work, and that notion that you've not got control over which part of the trial that children and their families and foster carers would go to, that was stickiest for us was that notion of random. If what I came back to was that parents and families and foster carers were going to get a really high quality service whichever part of the trial they're on.
To provide hard evidence, the gold standard in all research is a randomised controlled trial. We see that all the time in health research. My name is Carol Atkinson. I'm the designated family judge for East London Family Court. As the judge in charge of these proceedings, I have to have at the centre of my decision-making the child. But I would not support this trial if I thought it had any impact upon the fairness of these proceedings for parents.
My name's Margaret, and I've been fostering for 3.5 years.
My name's Faye, and I've been fostering for 10 years. In the BeST Services trial, they're doing a comparison between social services as it is now and also with the infant mental health for children, so they can compare the outcomes and the results.
Initially I thought, I'm not too sure. I thought, when I heard about the BeST trial, I thought, I'm going to be observed. It's all about my care, it's all about me. That didn't last for very long, because when I found out about it, I thought, this is all about the children.
I was invited down to the hospital to do some questionnaires. The children were observed, I was observed, and also a little interview.
It was in an office in the hospital, but you were offered a cup of tea when you got there. It was all just very relaxed.
The researchers were absolutely friendly, they made you feel at ease. It seems daunting. You think, what's all this about, the questions, but then it starts to make sense. It was very natural. It's just really doing puzzles and things like that, just for observation purposes, so that, they can see their development.
He looked up and he said, "That's a camera," and then waved it, which made me laugh. He realised he was being filmed. Who knows how he knew that? But he did.
The children actually felt like it was a little day out.
The reason that we're focusing on children under 5 is so if you can get in there early, you can make really big changes really quickly. The great Harvard economist, James Heckman, who's got a Nobel Prize for his work, he's described a curve that really shows that you get a much, much bigger bang for your buck if you want to look at it economically when you get in really early than if you wait. For me, child and adolescent mental health is just the most exciting science. It's just where the frontiers are at. The brain is actually more complex than the universe. If you look at the stars in the night sky, there are vastly more brain cells in a baby's brain. Scientists estimate there are more than 1 million neural connections being made in a baby's brain every second. We're really applying very rigorous science to help these tiny children where there's so much opportunity for change.
What we've heard from birth families is they feel that the trial has given them the opportunity to properly explore how they might look after their children. It's given them some space and time for themselves, some really good feedback that they've been pleased that they have been involved in the trial, and potentially even for those birth parents who don't manage to continue to care for this child, we significantly improve their chances of parenting their subsequent children.
I feel really honoured to work with these birth families because they are going through so much, and to have your child taken into care but to still want to contribute to science is just fantastic.
I'm really glad that I went on the trial because I've learned so much and I know it's helped the children.
Sometimes you feel in fostering that no one's there, no one's listening, no one's interested. But having someone ask me questions about the child I was looking after felt that there was interest in that child and that it wasn't just us.
You're part of something that allows the future social workers to be much clearer about what they're doing and why. So from a frontline perspective, it's something I wish I had had as a frontline social worker, and I would really encourage our frontline social workers to embrace the opportunity.
I'm very aware that the decisions that I make every day are life-changing decisions for families and children. That's why I endorse this trial.